All right, today's video, we are headed into the drugstore to talk all things body exfoliation. Don't make the mistake of assuming you even need to exfoliate your body. Remember, when you stand in the shower and the water runs over your body, to a certain extent, that is exfoliating those dry, heaped up dead skin cells. The second mistake is ignoring all of the exfoliating you're already doing. Products you're already using, things you're doing to your skin that are actively engaging in the exfoliation process. Por ejemplo, do you use a loofah? Congratulations, mechanical exfoliation. Do you use a washcloth? Congratulations, mechanical exfoliation. Did you shave your legs? Congratulations, mechanical exfoliation. Did you wax? Congratulations, mechanical exfoliation. Did you use a hair removal cream? Congratulations, you chewed up some of your stratum corneum. Proceed with caution. Does that mean if you've done these things, you should not use any sort of exfoliant? No, it just means you need to be a lot more mindful with the pressure. For example, you definitely don't want to use any type of exfoliant if you have just waxed or used a hair removal cream on the skin. Can't handle it at that point. But say you shaved your legs. Could you then put on a moisturizer with a chemical exfoliant in it? You can, but be aware, you might get more irritation, you might get more dryness, it might sting, it might burn, it might be too much for you. It also will depend on what you're using. Some moisturizers may be formulated to be a lot gentler in their exfoliating, and you'll be just fine. What are you addressing when you exfoliate skin on the body? You're addressing the buildup, the disarray of the dry outermost protective layer, the stratum corneum. Depending on what you are using, your age, underlying medical conditions like keratosis pilaris, you may have a lot of that going on and really benefit from using any type of exfoliant on the body. Maybe it's going on in a particular location like the upper arms, the thighs. Let's talk abrasives, whether it be a sugar scrub, a walnut scrub. These are not necessarily bad, okay? It depends on who's using them, how they're using them, and the pressure. Some people sand. Maybe they're going over an area they just shaved, more likely to cause irritation. Maybe you have atopic dermatitis. At baseline, you have an impaired skin barrier, and these things are just way too much for you. Being heavy-handed with this alongside other exfoliants can ultimately lead to a more transepidermal water loss. Use it towards the end of your shower. That way you've had enough time in there to allow for the water to saturate the outermost dead stuff, get it nice and soaking wet. It will slough off much more easily. While this is not a video focused on shaving, again, shaving is a form of mechanical exfoliation. If you want to get a better shave, make sure you do your shaving, like of your legs, for example. Towards the end of your shower, the hair on your legs has had enough time to get wet. It will be a lot easier to cut, and the mechanical exfoliation aspect that's happening to your stratum corneum will be a lot smoother. And maybe you don't really need to use a mechanical exfoliant on all body surfaces. Like, for example, this might be something that you use to dry rough elbows, to the buildup of keratosis pilaris on your upper arms, or to your feet for dry cracked heels. But are you going to go slathering this on your upper inner thigh? I would hope not. What are you trying to exfoliate there? Much more delicate area, more prone to irritation, because just think of the nature of the mechanics of the skin up in that area, likewise under the arm, delicate skin, and all day long, it's more likely to undergo a lot of frictional forces from walking and sweat accumulation. Sweat is an irritant, so yeah, you wouldn't want to be real intense with any type of exfoliant in that area. Which one should you choose? Chemical or mechanical exfoliation, or physical, other people refer to it. One is not necessarily better than the other, but in my opinion, chemical is a little bit more precise in terms of how it gets in there and dissolves the glue between dry, built up, sticky skin cells. And certain chemical exfoliants like alpha hydroxy acid as well as urea can also be hydrating. So not only do they slough off the dead stuff, but they have some moisture retaining properties to them that help the skin barrier. Speaking of improving the moisture content in the skin and the outermost layer in particular, that achieves something that downstream long term may reduce your needs for exfoliating, period. Because when the water content in skin's outermost layer is optimal, wrong, well, the enzymes responsible for normally exfoliating your skin perform a lot better. Ultimately, that'll cut down on the buildup of dry, rough skin. So that can be achieved, yes, through chemical exfoliants like alpha hydroxy acids and urea that are hydrating, but also just by consistently moisturizing your skin. You'll find over time that doing so helps to maintain the smoothness of the skin through a more efficient exfoliation process. Now, if you have a background issue like keratosis pilaris, moisturizer alone is a mainstay for managing and reducing flare-up, but it won't prevent them 100%. Inevitably, you may really find that you need to return to the use of alpha hydroxy acids or your sugar scrub or your washcloth, which is one of my favorite ways to mechanically exfoliate keratosis pilaris, just a little bit of gentle pressure there. Also, with age, menopause, our ability to retain water in our skin declines. You may find that you now need to use an exfoliant to reduce the buildup of that dry, rough skin. However, because barrier function is not as optimal, your skin may be more inclined to get irritated from overdoing it. So you have to be really strategic and, again, be mindful of everything else that you're doing in your routine that is also exfoliating. And you know I'm going to weave in sun protection into this discourse. Unprotected sun exposure chronically over time impairs the natural turnover processes of your skin, contributing to your overall need to exfoliate. Exfoliating smooths out the surface of the skin, allowing for more focused penetration of ultraviolet radiation into the skin, further warranting, of course, sun protection. And certain chemical exfoliants, namely alpha hydroxy acids like glycolic, lactic, mandelic, can make you a bit more vulnerable to a sunburn. So keep all of those three things in mind. Speaking of chemical exfoliants, let's talk exfoliating body wash, because that's the place to start. You're already getting mechanical exfoliation from just being in the shower, rubbing cleanser over the surface of the skin, whether it be with your hands, a washcloth, a loofah. And a question I get all the time is, are chemical exfoliants like salicylic acid, alpha hydroxy acids, are they going to even work in a cleanser? Cleansers can deposit active ingredients on the surface of the skin. That process is known as coacervation. So yes, you can derive the benefits of a chemical exfoliant like glycolic, lactic, mandelic, salicylic acid from a body wash. The advantage here is that you have the short contact may deposit less of the ingredient, overall making it perhaps less irritating in comparison to a leave-on product. I've spoken about keratosis pilaris and age-related decline in moisture retention abilities leading to dry, rough and bumpy, rough, coarse textured skin. But another reason you might want to exfoliate is your body is if you have hyperpigmentation. Let's talk chemical exfoliants that you leave on in a body moisturizer form. This is going to be one of the more underrated options, and there are a lot of great options. Why? Well, it's 12% lactic acid. 12% lactic acid and higher not only addresses the exfoliating needs of the epidermis, but also demonstrates the ability to improve dermal thickness, helping to plump, smooth the surface and the depth of wrinkles. So this is a great option for rough and bumpy skin, also underrated for mature skin, and may help again in accelerating the rate of clearance of hyperpigmentation. Can burn, can sting. This is some of Cetaphil's best work. This product right here, it was a 2024 skincare favorite, can be used on the body and the face. Salicylic acid plus mandelic, an alpha hydroxy acid, and gluconolactone, a polyhydroxy acid. So this is a product that's going to get in there, dissolve that dry, heaped up stuff to smooth the skin surface, but also deposit behind the polyhydroxy acid, the gluconolactone, that is also hydrating. It's going to improve moisture retention. Plus, shea butter is going to help reduce water loss. So this is a favorite for gentle chemical exfoliation, simultaneous hydration for face and body. But it's winter, and maybe you have really sensitive skin that's getting dry and flaky. You want to exfoliate it, but you don't want to overdo it. Get this. It's super rich. It has urea, which is overall pretty gentle and really, really great for people who have dry, flaky skin that's sensitive. It's great for mature skin, really good for dry elbows and knees. This urea is hygroscopic, so it's really going to help improve water content in the outermost layer. Here's another great rich cream, this time with polyhydroxy acid, even gentler, and colloidal oatmeal, which helps to hydrate. When it comes to urea, you can't go wrong with Gold Bond. check out my video on the best of Gold Bond. I go over some of my favorites, including this Diabetics Dry Skin Relief Body Lotion. It's got urea to exfoliate that dry, rough stuff. Very gentle, very hydrating. This is an excellent option. Speaking of Gold Bond, with that, I want to come to my next point. Question mark retinol on the body. Yes, yes, and yes. Benefits to using it, but how and if you need to exfoliate? Like, doesn't retinol exfoliate? Not exactly, but in a way, sort of. And what I mean by that is when you use retinol consistently, it improves the thickness of the epidermis and leads to compaction of the dead outermost layer, smoothing the skin. So you might not need to exfoliate. It doesn't actively exfoliate, but it changes the behavior of how your skin cells turn over, so they do so more efficiently, reducing the formation of the dry buildup. That being said, a lot of people still benefit from incorporating a exfoliant, whether it be chemical or mechanical. Do be aware that with that more compact stratum corneum, you're going to be more likely to experience dryness and irritation, and it'll be easier to overdo it, but it can be done. I do have a video on how to begin exfoliating when you've been using a retinol, but this product I really like because not only does it have retinol, but it also has urea. So this is a great product to smooth out the stratum corneum, get in there and dissolve dry buildup with the urea, but also hydrate. For those of you using a benzoyl peroxide acne wash, as is often recommended, benzoyl peroxide does exfoliate. So that's another situation where you could be overdoing it. If you're doing salicylic acid and benzoyl peroxide, a lot of people with acne tolerate that, especially if you have thicker acne spots. But for others who are sensitive, that just might be way too much. Signs that you are over-exfoliating might include dryness, irritation, flaky skin, and worsening of baseline skin conditions like acne. Check out my video on warning signs you have over-exfoliated. I do a deep dive and give tips and tricks on how to get back on track. All right, so that about wraps up what I wanted to say with regards to body exfoliating. But a few take-home points. A, not everyone needs to be exfoliating the body. B, not every body site is going to react well or the same to exfoliating. C, be mindful of what else you are already doing that is contributing to the exfoliation going on. D, protect your skin from the sun. Hydrated stratum corneum, meaning you've gotten it wet first, exfoliates a lot more efficiently with mechanical exfoliants. Also, keep in mind, simply using a moisturizer consistently, regardless of having a chemical exfoliant in it or not, will help your skin naturally exfoliate a lot more efficiently. And retinol doesn't actively exfoliate, but rather trains the cells to behave better, reducing buildup of dry, rough skin. Can be used with an exfoliant, but may negate the need for one. All right, guys, on the end slate, I'm going to put my video all about how to get smooth skin on the body. A lot more tips and tricks in that video. But if you all enjoyed this one, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.